Welcome, dear listener, to Serenity in the Redwood Grove, a tranquil tale designed to guide you into a peaceful night's rest. If you find comfort and solace in this story, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more soothing narratives. Before we immerse ourselves in the ancient wisdom of the Redwood Grove, we'll begin with a gentle breathing guidance designed to help you settle into a state of calm. However, if you prefer to skip straight to the story of Alistair and his discoveries within the grove, you can find the timestamps for each chapter in the description below. Now, let your body find a comfortable position, whether nestled in your bed or reclined in your favorite chair. Feel the gentle support beneath you, letting go of any tension held within your muscles. Let the day's worries begin to melt away, like mist in the morning sun. We are going to let the sounds of the forest and the soft voice guide you toward a tranquil state. Feel your mind becoming quiet like the forest floor, still and peaceful. Let's begin with a soothing breath. Inhale deeply and gently through your nose, feeling the air fill your lungs like the redwood trees drinking in the rain. Hold the breath for just a moment and then exhale slowly through your mouth, letting go of any thoughts that no longer serve you, just as the trees release old leaves. Imagine the rustling leaves of the ancient redwoods dancing gently in the breeze. As you breathe in, draw in the calmness of the forest, and as you breathe out, release any remaining worries. Let the scent of damp earth and pine surround you, bringing a sense of grounding and connection. If your mind begins to wander, simply acknowledge the thoughts and gently bring your attention back to the rhythm of your breathing and the sound of my voice. There's nothing you need to do but listen and allow the magic of the Redwood Grove to envelop you. As the story unfolds, notice the gentle descriptions of the forest, the soft sounds of nature, and the recurring sense of tranquility that pervades the atmosphere. Feel the steady, soothing tempo of the narrative carry you deeper into a state of rest. Now, let us begin our journey into the Redwood Grove, where forgotten tales of harmony await to guide you into a peaceful sleep. Chapter 1. The Whispering Giants. Alistair Thorne, a man whose brow seemed perpetually furrowed with the weight of countless historical tomes, found himself at the edge of a place spoken of only in hushed whispers amongst the local villagers, the Redwood Grove. He had journeyed here seeking not a new discovery for his next publication, but a balm for his weary soul. The relentless pace of academic life, the endless demands for papers and presentations, had left him feeling as if his spirit were a tightly wound clock, constantly ticking but never finding rest. The grove, with its ancient, towering trees, was rumored to hold a tranquility that even the most restless minds could not resist. As he stepped beneath the first of the giant redwoods, he felt a subtle shift within him, a gentle unwinding of the tension that had clung to him like a second skin. The trees were magnificent, their colossal trunks reaching towards the sky like the pillars of some ancient cathedral. Their bark, a tapestry of deep reds and browns, bore the marks of countless seasons, each groove and ridge a silent testament to the passage of time. The air, cool and crisp, carried the scent of damp earth, pine needles, and something else, something indefinably ancient and comforting, like the aroma of old books long loved. Sunlight filtered through the dense canopy of leaves, dappled the forest floor in a mosaic of light and shadow, painting a picture of serene stillness. Alistair allowed himself to take a slow, deep breath, filling his lungs with the pure, untainted air, and felt a sense of grounding he hadn't experienced. They understood the weariness he carried within him. As he wandered, he noticed a particular tree, grander than the others, its trunk so wide it seemed to encompass the world. The roots, thick and gnarled, spread out across the forest floor like the limbs of some slumbering giant. He was drawn to it, a quiet pull, as though the tree itself were beckoning him. He sat at the base of it, his back resting against the bark, feeling the sturdy strength of the wood. He closed his eyes again, letting the gentle sounds of the forest and the warmth of the sun on his face melt away any remaining anxiety. He could almost feel the history of the forest around him, the countless seasons that had come and gone, the silent wisdom that had been accumulated over centuries. He breathed in the comforting scent of the earth, imagining the years of life that had contributed to its rich aroma. Time seemed to slow, losing all meaning as he became more and more immersed in the serenity of his surroundings. He began to trace the patterns in the tree's bark, finding a sense of quiet focus in its intricate design. Alistair opened his eyes, noticing a small, circular door almost hidden from view, nestled among the roots. It was made of polished wood, dark and rich, and seemed to hum with a gentle inner light. He had not seen it before, and he wasn't sure how he hadn't. He approached it with a sense of quiet curiosity, a feeling that he was about to uncover a secret long held by the grove. He knew in his heart that this was no ordinary tree, that the door was more than just a curiosity. The tension from his mind had completely dissolved into a feeling of calm as his fingers touched the smooth surface of the wood. With a gentle push, the door swung inward, revealing not darkness, but a soft, inviting glow. A gentle breeze carrying the scent of old paper and cedar wafted out from within, beckoning him to step inside. And so Alistair, the weary scholar, prepared to enter the unknown, guided by a deep sense of calm and curiosity, ready to embrace whatever wonders the heart of the Redwood Grove held within. Chapter 2. The Rooted Library. As Alistair stepped through the wooden door, he found himself in a space unlike any he had ever encountered. It wasn't a cavern as he might have expected beneath the roots of such a grand tree, but a circular chamber bathed in a soft, golden light that seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. The room was lined with shelves, not of wood or stone, but of gnarled and polished tree roots that had been carefully crafted to hold an astonishing collection of books and scrolls. The air was still, carrying with it a faint scent of aged paper, cedarwood, and something else that reminded him of the earth, a subtle and calming aroma that filled him with a profound sense of peace. Alistair's eyes widened as he took in the sheer scale of the library. It seemed to stretch into infinity, the roots twisting and turning, forming alcoves and niches, each filled with literary treasures. He walked slowly, his footsteps barely making a sound on the smooth, polished floor, his hand gently tracing the spines of the books as he passed. They were bound in leather, parchment, and even what looked like tree bark, each one unique and bearing the marks of countless readings. He could feel a subtle energy emanating from them, a quiet murmur of the stories within the book. Time lost all meaning, and he was completely present, surrounded by the ancient tales of the grove. He found a deep comfort in the soft, rhythmic nature of the stories, and a subtle understanding of the peace the grove held in its heart. He found himself more and more calm as the gentle words worked their magic on his spirit. As Alistair continued to read, he noticed that the stories were not just words on a page, but were alive, filled with gentle energy and movement. Small visual projections would appear above the book, showing the stories he was reading, but they never disturbed his focus, only served to immerse him deeper into the book itself. It was as if the library itself were telling the stories, as if the roots were whispering secrets to his very soul. He traced a finger along the words on the page, finding a soothing sense of calm in the textures of the paper and ink. The rooted library felt like a sanctuary, a place where worries could melt away like mist in the morning sun, and where the wisdom of the past could guide one towards inner peace. Alistair felt a deep sense of gratitude for having found this hidden place, this refuge where he could rest and allow the ancient stories of the grove to nurture his weary spirit. And he quietly looked forward to his next dive into the stories within the pages before him. He felt at peace, and he felt very safe. Chapter 3. Echoes of Harmony. Alistair spent what felt like a timeless stretch within the rooted library, completely absorbed in the stories held within its ancient books and scrolls. He found himself drawn to tales of a time when humans lived in complete harmony with the natural world, their lives intertwined with the rhythms of the earth and the wisdom of the trees. These were not grand epics of conquest or adventure, but gentle narratives of quiet lives, lived in balance and peace, filled with rituals, practices, and understandings that had long been forgotten by the world outside the grove. Each tale spoke of respect, of interconnectedness, and of finding serenity in the simple things. One story in particular described a group of people who lived within the Redwood Groves, their homes built amongst the roots of the trees, their lives dictated by the cycles of the forest. They understood the language of the leaves, the songs of the birds, and the subtle shifts of the wind. Their days were filled with mindful tasks, from gathering herbs and crafting tools to meditating in the dappled sunlight. or beneath the silvery glow of the moon. They lived in peace, understanding that the true treasures were not material possessions, but the harmony of the world around them and the quiet joy in their hearts. Alistair traced his fingers across the faded illustrations of the text, feeling a sense of connection to the people and the lives they had lived. He learned of ancient practices of mindfulness, of techniques to quiet the mind and find inner peace. These were not complicated rituals, but simple acts of observation, like feeling the texture of the bark beneath one's fingertips, or listening to the gentle rustling of the leaves in the breeze. The texts described ways to ground oneself in the present moment, to appreciate the small wonders of nature, and to find solace in the stillness of the grove. The way these people lived was almost alien to Alistair, the quiet sense of peace and balance, a stark contrast to the hustle and bustle he was used to. As he read, Alistair noticed that the sounds of the forest outside the library seemed to resonate with the stories he was consuming. The gentle rustling of the leaves echoed the quiet wisdom of the text, and the soft chirping of birds seemed to punctuate the most poignant moments of each tale. It was as if the grove itself was participating in his learning, guiding him to a deeper understanding of its ancient knowledge. The soft patter of rain on the forest canopy outside the library provided a constant, gentle backdrop to Alistair's quiet reading, like a lullaby softly sung by the forest itself. He closed his eyes for a moment and listened to the gentle rhythm, feeling a deep sense of peace settling in his heart. He spent countless hours reading, lost in the gentle world of these old tales, and with each passing moment, the worries he had carried with him began to fade away like shadows in the morning light. He felt a growing sense of responsibility, a stirring within him that whispered of a duty to not only learn, but to preserve and protect the ancient wisdom he was now privy to. It was clear to him that the stories were more than just words on a page. They were a living testament to a different way of life, a path to finding peace and harmony. He felt himself becoming more and more attuned to the rhythm of the grove, its quiet energy resonating deep within his soul. He found a particular fondness for the stories that described the gentle rituals and daily lives of the people who had lived within the grove. He learned of the importance of gratitude, of giving thanks for the small blessings in life, for the sun, the rain, and the trees that offered shelter and sustenance. He studied their methods of mindful movement, of walking through the forest with a quiet heart, noticing the small wonders along the way. He tried to mimic their breathing, his lungs filling with the fresh air, each breath a step further into the world of calm. With each new tale, Alistair felt a greater sense of peace and a deeper understanding of the interconnectedness of all things. The grove had offered him more than just knowledge. It had given him a path towards healing and a sense of belonging, a feeling that he had finally found his place in the world. He had found an understanding of the stillness he had been craving, and the importance of a life lived with quiet intention. He now knew that the stories he was reading were not just from the past, but were the keys to a more harmonious and peaceful future. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in gentle hues of orange and pink through the filtered canopy, Alistair finally closed his book. He felt a sense of calm that went deeper than any he had ever known. He knew that his time in the rooted library was far from over, that there were countless more stories waiting to be discovered, each offering a new piece of wisdom and a deeper understanding of the ancient grove and his purpose within it. He felt a deep sense of peace and gratitude, and laid the book carefully back in its place, knowing that he would come back soon. Chapter 4. The Keeper's Call. As the last rays of the setting sun faded from the sky, Alistair stepped out of the rooted library, feeling a profound sense of calm and renewal. The forest around him seemed to hum with a gentle energy, the rustling leaves whispering secrets only he could understand. He walked slowly, his feet barely disturbing the soft moss beneath him, his senses heightened by the ancient wisdom he had imbibed within the library. The scent of damp earth and pine was more comforting than ever, each breath a reminder of the grounding presence of the grove. He felt as though the very air itself was imbued with a gentle magic, a soft energy that was seeping into his soul. He paused beneath the largest redwood, the one that housed the library within its roots, and gazed up at its towering form. The tree seemed to glow with a soft inner light, its branches reaching towards the heavens like arms outstretched in welcome. He closed his eyes, allowing the sounds of the forest to envelop him, the chirping of crickets, the distant hoot of an owl, and the gentle murmur of the wind through the trees. As he listened, he noticed a subtle melody woven into the symphony of nature, a quiet, ethereal tune that seemed to come from within the grove itself. It was a peaceful and calming sound that worked to quiet the thoughts in his mind. He opened his eyes and noticed a beam of soft-colored light shimmering just in front of him. It danced and swirled in the air, not harsh or intrusive, but like a gentle, glowing ribbon. It beckoned him deeper into the grove, and Alistair, without a moment of hesitation, followed. He walked slowly, his heart filled with a sense of calm anticipation, trusting that the light would lead him to where he needed to be. The beam of light changed colors as it moved, soft blues and greens, gentle yellows and pinks, all working to create a calming visual effect as he walked. The light led him to a hidden clearing, a small haven of tranquility bathed in the soft glow of the moon. In the center of the clearing was a small, moss-covered stone, and around it small wildflowers bloomed, their delicate petals reaching towards the sky. Alistair approached the stone and sat down, his back resting against it, feeling the coolness of the moss beneath his fingertips. As he sat there, a series of images flashed through his mind, not as thoughts or memories, but as visions, as if he was seeing the story of the grove unfolding before him. He saw the ancient people who had lived in harmony with the grove, their lives filled with gentle rituals and mindful practices. He saw the library not as just a collection of books, but as a living repository of wisdom, its energy flowing throughout the entire forest. And finally, he saw a vision of himself, not as the weary historian he once was, but as a gentle guardian, a keeper of the grove's tranquility. He knew then, with a certainty that went beyond mere words, that he had been chosen, not by chance, but by a deep connection to the very essence of the grove itself. The visions were all peaceful and clear, each carrying a feeling of quiet calm. He understood that his purpose was not to simply study the grove, but to protect it, to nurture its wisdom, and to ensure that its tranquility continued to flourish for generations to come. He would be the keeper, the guardian of this special place, a silent protector against any external forces that might try to disrupt the peace. The responsibility felt natural and right, as if this was the path he had always been destined for, the role he had always been meant to play. He found himself accepting the role, feeling his heart fill with a sense of purpose. As he sat in the clearing, a soft melodic sound enveloped him, a symphony of the grove, a gentle lullaby meant to soothe his soul. He felt the connection between himself, the trees, and the forest, and it filled him with a profound sense of peace. He was no longer just an observer, but a part of the ancient soul of the Redwood Grove. The sound was a gentle affirmation, a soothing melody of acceptance and belonging. Alistair closed his eyes, breathing in the scent of the forest, and as the soft music of the grove filled his being, he accepted his new role with a quiet sense of gratitude and anticipation. He knew that his life was about to change, that he was about to embark on a new chapter, not as a seeker of knowledge, but as a keeper of peace, ready to embrace the responsibility that had been entrusted to him. And he felt more content than he had ever felt before. He felt ready to begin his life as the keeper of the Redwood Grove. Chapter 5. A Sanctuary of Peace. With the dawning of a new day, Alistair embraced his role as the keeper of the Redwood Grove. The soft light of sunrise filtered through the towering trees, casting a warm golden glow upon the mossy ground. He awoke feeling refreshed and at peace, his mind clear and his heart filled with a sense of purpose. He began his day with a gentle walk through the grove, his footsteps quiet as he observed the subtle changes that had occurred overnight. The air was filled with the chirping of birds, the rustling of leaves, and the gentle murmur of a hidden stream, all weaving together into a symphony of natural peace. His first task of the day was to tend to the rooted library. He entered the chamber with a sense of reverence, his hands carefully running over the spines of the books and scrolls. He chose a volume at random and settled into a familiar nook in the wall, allowing himself to be drawn into its ancient wisdom once again. He found himself reading more slowly, savoring each word and letting the meaning of the stories sink deep into his soul. The library was not just a place of learning, but a sanctuary of peace. A haven where worries melted away, like mist in the morning sun. The familiar scents of aged paper and cedarwood filled his senses and calmed his mind. He spent hours within the library, not just reading, but meditating on the stories, letting their wisdom guide his thoughts and actions. He practiced the ancient techniques of mindfulness he had learned, focusing on the present moment and appreciating the simple joys of being alive. He let the gentle light of the library surround him and soothe his spirit. He allowed the words of the ancient texts to guide him, letting the lessons on balance and harmony fill his heart. He was not only the keeper of the library, but also a student, forever learning from its ancient texts. After his time in the library, Alistair ventured out into the grove, his bare feet sinking into the soft moss. He spent hours simply wandering, observing the delicate patterns of the bark, tracing the intricate veins of the leaves, and listening to the gentle sounds of nature. He followed the rhythms of the forest, letting his own steps synchronize with the natural pace of the world around him. He would sit beneath the largest redwoods, feeling their strength and steadiness beneath him, and would spend time in quiet contemplation, his mind clear and at peace. As the days turned into weeks, Alistair's presence within the grove began to attract others. Local villagers, drawn to the tranquility that now seemed to emanate from the grove, would venture in to seek solace from their troubles. He would greet them with a warm smile and a quiet heart, offering them a peaceful place to rest and reflect. He would share the wisdom he had learned from the library, encouraging them to embrace the simple things in life, to find balance and harmony within themselves, and to treat nature with respect and care. He created a small garden near the library, filled with aromatic herbs and vibrant wildflowers, where visitors could spend time in quiet contemplation. The garden became a space of healing, a place where the worries of the outside world seemed to fade away. He tended to it daily, taking great care in its maintenance and growth, feeling a sense of purpose in creating a space of peace for others. The space was filled with the soft buzzing of bees, the delicate scent of flowers, and the gentle sound of water trickling over smooth stones. Alistair's daily routine was one of quiet contemplation, gentle service, and a deep connection with the natural world. He would meditate beneath the trees. He would teach others the ways of the grove, and he would always protect the magic within. He lived in harmony with the rhythms of the grove, each day a peaceful reflection of the calm he now carried within him. He was no longer a weary scholar, but a gentle keeper, a protector of the grove's tranquility, living a life guided by balance, respect, and an appreciation for the simple beauties of the world. And so the Redwood Grove became a sanctuary of peace, a place where the worries of the world could be left behind, and where weary souls could find rest and renewal. Alistair, the keeper of the grove, had not only found his purpose, but had created a haven of tranquility for all, And so the grove continued to flourish, its ancient wisdom shared, and its serenity protected by his kind and loving heart.